I forgot. Why is this one called Applejack again? Oh man, I forgot. Did we learn anything about Applejack? Oh no. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, I'm
I
going to have
heard
to
her
rewatch
unlock the
my
gate
old
and pull it
videos.
open, but my vision was blurring. I sat there, fighting harder and harder, trying to breathe, air struggling to get through my throat into my chest. I heard the chime behind me. The door opened and an apple-green stallion in tuxedo barding stepped out, looking around. Apple Snack. The moment he saw me, his eyes widened, then narrowed, taking in the discarded zebra cloak nearby. Damn it! I knew something felt wrong. He looked up, observing the open gate and disabled magical shield. Hold on, Buck. I'll get. Apple Snack froze, his voice silencing abruptly as the core rounded the mainframes, heading back. You. Apple Snack stepped into a battle stance as Zecora stopped short. You. Apple Snack called out, fury in his voice. Apple Snack, Zecora said, failing to rhyme, her eyes growing wider. She trusted you. She let you into our house, and you betrayed her? Apple Snack was striding slowly forward. I opened my heart to you because she wanted me to. I even began to trust you. To like you. A zebra. How could I have been so stupid? My host wheezed, holding up a hoof and trying to stop Apple Snack. Don't. But there was almost no sound to my voice. We, struggled to get up, but our hooves wouldn't work. I realized we really were dying. She thought you were a friend. You broke her heart. Apple Snack was roaring. I suddenly knew. This was what was hurting him. I remembered Steelhoof's denial when I told him the truth about Zecora, and the painful resignation that seemed to follow.
Oh, did he
I
kill
would
her?
prefer she'd killed these monsters with cold-blooded calculation, Steelhoof had told Calamity regarding my rampage in Arbu. It wasn't the killing he had thought was bad. It was the blind rage. And now you come back, tonight of all nights, to hurt her again? Zecora crouched down submissively. You have caught me. I do not fight, she intoned. I am your prisoner tonight. Apple Snack stooped, shaking. Then screamed, bellowing, No, Zecora, this is not how you say died, resisting arrest. No, Steelhoofs, don't do this. He charged, turning and bucking at Zecora. She didn't try to dodge, at least not the first time. She did the second, and the third, and the fourth. My host flailed as darkness began to seep into the edges of his vision. The fight for breath was getting harder, and he was losing. His whole body felt weak and distant. I didn't feel the hum of the elevator at all, but we heard the chime. As the door slid open, an oddly familiar song floated into the hallway. It was the same song that had played in Steelhoof's shack the morning I had first really met him. The song he had become strangely lost to. My host struggled again, trying to get up, trying to make any part of his body work now. We weren't getting air anymore. Down the hall, I saw Zecora strike out, trying to defend herself. Apple Snack ducked under the kick, and brought up one of his own, striking her underneath and sending her body flying against the wall. Zecora hit the wall with a meaty smack, leaving a splash of blood as she fell below. From within the elevator came a horribly familiar voice. Oh, nuts and shrews. I knew the boy was planning on proposing tonight. But if we're missing our song because Sergeant Steelhooves has become Sergeant Coldhooves. Oh no. No. Don't come out here, Applejack. Don't see this. It'll hurt you if you see this. We've been trying to repair our relationship, Steelhooves had told me. Ever since the night she had seen the darkness in me. Not learned about. Seen.
Yeah,
Applejack,
a cute
wearing
choice
a little
of
black
words.
dress that was clearly a rarity original, stepped out of the elevator. She looked to her right, seeing an empty hall ending in a vault door. She looked left. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating to pinpoints as she saw Applesnack, bloodied, his torso heaving with each breath, standing over the very bloody corpse of Zecora.
Oh, fuck. Okay, next. Oh, looks like the Applejack stuff came at the end there. Okay, I'll take it.
There's a secret passage from the basement of the examination building to the Royal Treasury. Steels asked in disbelief as we galloped towards the Celestian Monument, our weapons and most of our supplies floating in tow behind me.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Yep. Don't make sense to me neither. Seems to be the sort of place you wouldn't want secret ways into, Calamity responded,
Yeah!
gliding along beside us.
I was literally just thinking that.
But that's what the map on the terminal said. I was still reeling from the knowledge of whose office I had set hoof in, whose terminal I had managed to break into. Velvet and Calamity had laid down on her bed. After her sister Luna had taken the throne, after Littlehorn,
Did we
she'd spent
miss
a lot...
something? This really feels like something is missing. Allow me to pause.
There's a secret passage from the basement of the examination building to the Royal Treasury.
Apparently not.
Steels
I
asked in
guess
disbelief as we
what the
galloped
fuck?
towards the Celestian Monument, our weapons and most of our supplies floating in tow behind me. Yep. Don't make sense to me neither. Seems to be the sort of place you wouldn't want secret ways into, Calamity responded, gliding along beside us. But that's what the map on the terminal said. I was still reeling from the knowledge of whose office I had set hoof in, whose terminal I had managed to break into. Velvet and Calamity had laid down on her bed. After her sister Luna had taken the throne, after Littlehorn, she had spent a lot more time at her school than in the castle. As we reached the monument, we slowed our pace. Most of the Alicorns were on the far side of Ministry Walk, but my EFS was picking up hostiles close enough to worry about, even in the ruddy fading light of dusk. We needed stealth right now. The Celestian Monument was magnificent, even after centuries of decay had taken bites out of its structure, leaving patches of framework bare. I stopped a moment to stare in awe, then bowed before it, sending up a prayer to the goddess. I heard the sound of static. It was growing steadily louder. A sprite bot was approaching from the front side of the monument, its speakers broadcasting white noise and necromantic death. My vision fuzzed, my head beginning to throb for what seemed the infinitieth time that evening. We were just on the edge of the effect now, and we started stepping back to keep from being engulfed. I was useless against ghouls and zombies created by the pink cloud, and nearly as helpless against alicorns. But this was a threat that I alone was equipped to handle. I was the only one with a ranged weapon that was quiet. I floated out the zebra rifle, peering down its sights, tracking the approaching robot by its friendly light on my EFS compass, waiting for it to float into sight. A deadly silent trio of bullets split the night air, and the sprite bot dropped to the ground, internal circuitry burning, its broadcast dying with a pop of ozone. We trotted past it, ignoring the scrap. Well, most of us did. Calamity picked it up and offered it to
My
Steelers,
boy!
remembering the Ranger's armor used scrap metal to repair itself. The outside grounds of Celestia's school had been blissfully vacant. Any pony outside had fled to the safety of the buildings when the pink cloud came. Not that the buildings had proven sufficiently safe. As we rounded one of the mighty wings of the Celestian Monument, we saw that Ministry Walk had not fared so well. There were skeletons scattered all about the field, sticking out of the ground like black weeds. Ponies had filled the park when the pink cloud consumed it. A stallion whose bow tie and collar had become permanent parts of his neck. The twisted framework of a baby carriage, with the skeleton of a baby Pegasus pony welded to it, the infant's mother laying half inside the cobblestones nearby. A mare who had been sitting on a park bench in a most peculiar fashion, her skeleton now melted to the bench itself, holding her to that pose forever. Two ponies fused together in a final eternal embrace, their skulls tilted upwards in the direction the pink horror had descended upon them, snuffing out the twin flames of love and life. "This is too much," Velvet Remedy moaned. Then she gasped in horror, stopping dead and staring ahead of us. The Ministry of Peace. The Canterlot hub of Fluttershy's ministry had been built into a grove of magically grown trees. 200 years ago, it would have been a heartwarming vision of natural beauty. But the pink cloud had murdered the trees, turning them into twisted black terrors, the whole building looking like a haunted house. Small objects littered the cobblestones and lifeless planters that circled the ministry. Scissors, ashtrays, metal picture frames. All objects sucked out of the rooms whose windows had shattered. Parts of a terminal lay smashed on the steps just outside the front doors. A ceramic butterfly had shattered into 6 pieces, scattered across a row of dead hedges. As we crept forward, Velvet Remedy hesitated.
I don't think I want to see any more. I don't want to know what this poison place has done to Fluttershy.
Oh, fuck off.
Velvet Remedy paused to look at a corner diorama, featuring Fluttershy sitting in a forested field, surrounded by gentle animals. I could guess she was struggling against the urge to shatter the display and steal the full-size Fluttershy for herself. You okay?
I just can't take her away from all of her forest friends.
Velvet whined softly. The Ministry of Peace had suffered severe internal damage when the trees that formed most of its outer walls had twisted into their unnatural death throes. Pink cloud had seeped into all but the most interior rooms. To our further dismay, the Canterlot hub seemed to be less a place of healing and medical research than a public front and administrative center for the other MOP hubs. We were coming up empty-hooved in our search for medicine. The only upside is that nothing in the Ministry of Peace had attacked us yet. Everything in this place was dead. I approached the set of double doors and nudged it open. Velvet Remedy, looking over my shoulder, whinnied in dismay. A haze of deep pink filled a massive room which had once been an auditorium. Rows of rotting seats descended towards a dilapidated stage beneath the last dangling threads of cloud-eaten curtains. The walls, formed from even more trees, were blackened and dead. Velvet Remedy inexplicably pushed past me and galloped into the poisoned room.
What the fuck? Why?
Velvet, what you doing, girl? Get yourself out of there. Velvet paid us no attention, charging up to the stage and jumping onto it. I saw her waver as she landed, the pink cloud beginning to get to her. I shouted for her to come back. Beside me, Pyrelite cried out, calling to her beloved Velvet. What in tarnation does she think she's doing? Calamity demanded. Velvet stumbled, turning and standing before the podium. She put a hoof onto it, and it broke apart at her touch. I could hear her sob. The auditorium still had great acoustics. Seeing her standing on that stage, wearing her yellow medical boxes, I suddenly realized this wasn't just any auditorium. This wasn't just any stage.
Hello?
Velvet Remedy said meekly, reciting from memory.
She's lost it. I knew it. I knew that those fucking memory cores were bad for you. I called it. I fucking called it. I knew it. So, okay. So, from what I guess, just watching like a memory core one at a time, like you don't, like, you know, you see it once or twice, doesn't affect you. But if you watch that shit 1,000 times, you're just going to start losing it. Velvet, you're gone nuts, girl.
Can I have your attention, please? If you don't mind.
Oh, goddesses. Hold on, Lil Pip. I'm gonna go grab her.
Thank you.
Velvet was saying.
Now, I know every pony is really, really busy, so I'll try not to take too much of your time.
Calamity, wait, I said, holding up a hoof. Pyrelite fluttered at the edge of the pink, hooting in agitation. Wait! He spun on me fiercely. She's gone plumb off her rocker. She'll die in there if we wait. I focused, wrapping Velvet Remedy in my magic.
I'll pull her out. I think maybe she needs to do this.
Fuck.
She was risking her life.
Fuck you. That's all I gotta say. Fuck you.
Life to do this. And I couldn't tell if she was on the road to catharsis or catatonia.
Probably catatonia. Like, this is... Lil Pip. This is not a healthy thing to do. Not physically. And I don't think it's mentally healthy. For all you know, this is a side effect of watching the same orb 1,000 times that it begins to imprint on your psyche. Whatever fine science and arcane arts that went into the memory orbs, you don't know them. Like, for all you know, back in the old days, there could have been a law against viewing it as many times as Velvet has. Like, the fuck? Fuck you!
Needs to do what? Calamity demanded. Firelight didn't wait. The Balefire Phoenix soared into the poison, flying to Velvet Remedy. Below us, Velvet Remedy continued, her inflection perfectly matching Fluttershy's.
Princess Luna has given us...
Yeah, see, that perfectly... yeah, that's... not... that's probably a bad sign.
That is, she's allowed us to... we have a new project.
Velvet paused, looking out over the crowd that only existed in her mind, as Firelight landed by her forehooves and rubbed against her, nudging her to move. This is bad, Steelhooves told me. Velvet cringed slightly.
Please, it's okay. I know we're all overworked, and every pony has so much to do already, and you're all doing just wonderfully.
She gave a most beautiful smile. Oh, what in the hay? Calamity moaned. Firelight began to cough. I extended my magic around her too, feeling increasingly anxious. Did she really need this?
No!
Would she ever forgive me if I pulled her out?
Fuck!
Denied her this?
Fuck her forgiveness! Like... fuck! No!
Did it really matter?
No!
But this is really important. I've been talking with Princess Luna and...
Velvet fell to her knees, coughing, her voice getting weaker as she struggled to breathe.
I really want to do this project. I'm behind it.
She coughed again.
Completely. And I really hope you will be too. This horrible, terrible war has gone on far, far too long and hurt so many ponies.
I could hear the sadness and hurt in Velvet's weakened voice. Sweet, merciful Celestia, I could see her tears. Enough of this, Calamity growled. Little Pip, get her out of there now. I nodded, blinking back tears of my own. From your lips to Celestia's ears.
Y'all
I
fucking
whimpered
idiots.
as I levitated Velvet and pulled my
No,
friend.
no. Little Pip and Velvet. Velvet's probably going through some psychosis from the insane viewings of all the memory arts. Lil Pip's just fucking dumb. Like, I don't know what Lil Pip's intelligence score is. Actually, no. Is it oh god, it's been a long time since I played Fallout. Is wisdom a score? I'm going to have to go back and play... I'm going to have to go back and play some Fallout games to remember. But, god fucking damn it.
From the gas chamber.
But I know if this was D&D, Lil Pip's intelligence would be high, but her wisdom would be 0.
Velvet Remedy was barely in a condition to move, much less walk, even after I had fed her our last healing potion. We left her in the care of Firelight and Steelhooves. Mind telling me what the hell all that was about? Calamity asked angrily as he flew above the maze of office cubicles I was wading through. The Fluttershy orb, I told him. I heard a crunch and felt a sharp pain in my left forehoof. Looking down, I saw that I had stepped on the skeletal remains of a small creature. I stopped, leaning against the cubicle wall, and telekinetically pulled a thorn-shaped bit of broken bone from my hoof, which beaded with blood. There were other little skeletons all over this floor. That auditorium. That was the room where Fluttershy was talking to her ministry ponies in the orb's memory. Velvet Remedy was reciting it, or reliving it, or something.
I go with reliving. Because there has to be side effects of overindulging in a single orb. Like, maybe if you have a bunch of them and you only do one viewing each for a while, it's fine, but there's gotta be, like, side effects to it.
That struck you as something we ought to let her keep doing? Calamity snapped. I don't know. Velvet's a performer. I don't think that was... I hope that was just her doing a performance. Her one chance to be on Fluttershy
In the fucking purple fog?
stage. But I turned to my Pegasus friend. The first friend I'd ever really had.
Fluttershy's ministry created mega spells, Calamity. I admitted to him.
Whoa!
Calamity stopped in midair, hovering.
Say what now?
They were originally intended as mass healing spells. She never meant for them to be used as weapons of death. Calamity groaned.
Velvet.
She doesn't know yet. But sooner or later she's gonna find out. And when that happens, do you think it will be any easier if we had denied her the chance to do whatever she was doing?
Fuck.
Calamity bucked one of the cubicle walls, punching his hoof straight through it. We moved on. The office is quiet except for the background music of Calamity rummaging through desks and filing cabinets. The air in here was clear, if musty and old. Yet it felt like the pink cloud was all about us, eating at my friends, its corrosion seeping even into our friendships. We made our way through the floor
No,
without
that's
talking
just
again,
dumb choices.
past the cubicles and smaller offices until we reached a curving yellow hallway. On the inner curve was a simple wooden door, the frame around it covered in little birdhouses. Along the bottom of the door were several smaller doors, as if designed for little creatures to move in and out of as they pleased. Along the outer curves were two pairs of stately, arched double doors made of polished mahogany. These two had little animal doors built into them. The far set was open, but all I could see of the room was just part of the wall. The curve of the hall prevented me from seeing the far end, but I didn't need to. Just beyond the open doors there was a sign mounted on the hallway ceiling, the glass plate reading elevators, still backlit by a slightly flickering light. I checked my EFS for any signs of hostility, but the whole floor was dead. Nudging Calamity, I suggested, "Let's finish this up. I want to get out of here. You take that door." I motioned towards the small, peculiar inner door. "I'll take these." Calamity nickered unhappily, but flew ahead to the smaller door anyhow. I was wagering that an office designed to allow small animals was less likely to have dangerous defenses.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I was expecting anything threatening from either room. The
A
ministry piece had
horde
been entirely,
of cannibal
even eerily,
buddies.
peaceful. I watched as Calamity opened the door to the inner office. It wasn't even locked. I then shifted to the closest set of mahogany double doors. Inside was a meeting room, dominated by a rich table crafted exquisitely from the same mahogany as the doors. Chairs were overturned, papers and folders were scattered. The opposite wall was dominated by a huge picture window that stared out over the pink-tainted ministry walk. The room held a single skeleton, that of a mare whose body dangled from the window, a forehoof melded to the glass. There were imperfections radiating away from her hoof, cracks in the window which had fused back together before the pressure outside could grow enough to blow the window in.
Cool.
A once beautiful saddle purse hung from her rotting bones, the bottom having torn away, dumping its contents all over the floor. Was that Fluttershy? My heart sank, a knot forming in my throat. I stepped closer, eyes fixed on the skeleton, only to run into the table. Somehow, part of me was sure that it was Fluttershy. That she had... No, wait. I felt a flood of relief as I realized it wasn't the kind yellow Pegasus after all. It couldn't be. No wing bones, a horn. This was a unicorn. Probably a secretary or a nurse, possibly a caretaker of Fluttershy's animals while she was away, but certainly not Fluttershy herself. As I walked around the table to get a closer look, I spied the far wall, where a chalkboard hung between two monitors. The meeting room had been designed for multimedia presentations. Amongst the strange diagrams, the chalkboard bore 4 words written in bold yellow chalk, save that the first letter of each word was pink. Communally assured reciprocal existence. I felt weak. Oh, poor Fluttershy. I stumbled and sat in a chair. The chair promptly fell apart, dumping me onto the floor. Blinking, I found myself looking between the table's legs at the hind hooves of the dangling skeleton and the collection of rubbish that had fallen from her purse. Amongst the decayed garbage lay a statue, still pristine, of a yellow Pegasus pony surrounded by birds and butterflies, a small family of chipmunks, and a white rabbit. She was smiling at them sweetly from behind the curtain of her pink mane, a look of gentle caring in her eyes. I got up, walking closer until I could see... Be pleasant. The final of the Ministry Mare statuettes. I now had a full...
It should have been Be Kind. And that would have been a great Doctor Who reference of the future! Yeah, I like Doctor Who. Could you guess?
set. Only, I wasn't going to keep this one. I knew a unicorn who needed her more than I did. Besides, wouldn't it be wrong for corrupted kindness to be carrying around a statuette of the bear?
Okay, you know, I love tropes because when tropes are done well, they're amazing. Like, I told you my favorite trope is Roaring Rampage of Revenge, right? My second favorite trope, however, is the Determinator. Because it's basically the opposite of what Lil Pip's doing right now. The Determinator doesn't let fucking mind games get to him. It doesn't let the big bad mess with the head. Fuck no. If Lil Pip was a Determinator, what the goddess said would not only wash right off, but Lil Pip would pull out her revolver and say, "No, fuck you," and then kill her. Probably. I mean, yeah, it's what I do. I mean, yeah, I'm not projecting or anything. Yeah. Oh man, I hope Lil Pip turns into a Determinator later, cause like fuck. Oh god, I'm mind games.
Of the element of kindness? Wouldn't I be dishonoring her somehow?
Oh, shut up.
So it was with every intention of giving the Fluttershy statuette to Velvet Remedy that I wrapped
Yeah,
it.
can I be a companion, Lil Pip? Can I come in there and be your companion? Because I think Little Pip needs a companion that will just tell her to shut the fuck up. Like, well, that's the thing. That's actually like a real thing people could use. Because sometimes you need that person to tell you when you are being a dumbass. Not kindly either. Like, sometimes heroes and people in great positions or on great journeys, they need someone to tell them when they're being a stupid asshole. That's an actual thing people need. Not to mention, they also usually turn out to be the best characters. I mean, you all remember Kreia from Knights of the Old Republic 2, right? You remember how every time you made a decision, she would basically say you're a stupid asshole? Man, we all loved that bitch. Oh, she was nuts.
My magic. And everything changed. I felt a surge of magic, much like with the others. But this time, it was accompanied by something more. Something greater. As I lifted the Fluttershy statuette before me, I knew that I was going to keep her. Not out of selfishness. Not because it was something I wanted or felt I deserved. The statuettes wanted to be together. The Ministry Mares needed to be together. They were meant to be. Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, Applejack. They were stronger when they were together. Better. Separating them had been the worst.
Don't you just love that when you're collecting loot pieces and you get a whole set and it reveals it had hidden properties? Like, a lot of games nowadays, they tell you if a set has better properties when together. Like, oh, this has this effect on its own, but if you get another piece that does this, and you get the third piece that does that. No, let it be a surprise. And let it not happen until you get all of them together. Like, if you get all... Like this, you get all the main 6 statuettes, then you get... They get super versions. Like, they power up. They level up. That's cool. The surprise is cool. Man.
Thing any pony could have done to them. I knew that. And now that I had brought them together, I knew I couldn't separate them again. Calamity dumped out the medical supplies he had found. I found Fluttershy's personal office, he told Velvet Remedy. And no, before you ask, she wasn't there. But she left us all with this. Velvet Remedy's smile touched her eyes, making them sparkle. It was as if Fluttershy herself had left the supplies we would need, just for us. Cabinets weren't even locked, Calamity commented. Velvet began sorting through the medicine. Calamity had simply grabbed everything. I recognized super restoration potions and healing potions. Enough to get us through 3 Canterlots, with some to spare. Painkillers, too. Most of the rest, however, were beyond my ken.
Veterinary medicine.
Velvet Remedy explained, dividing the pills for animals from the drugs for ponies. Then she took a few from the former pile.
For Firelight, just in case.
Firelight gave an exaggerated hacking sound and then shot Velvet a challenging look.
Oh, you'll take your medicine if I give it to you.
Velvet shot back, eyes narrowing but smiling nonetheless.
I already have enough problem patients with these ponies.
Fluttershy's office was more like an office for a doctor than the head of a whole branch of equestrian government, Calamity mused. There was even an eye chart on the wall, but with nuts. He placed a hoof over one of his eyes, mimicking acorn, almond, walnut, cashew, peanut, another acorn. Velvet Remedy wrapped the healing potions in her magic and divided them amongst us.
Keep these with you. In a place like this, it makes no sense for only one pony to be carrying all the medical supplies.
True.
She then scooped up the rest in her medical boxes, save for a selection that she set aside for Steelhooves. Turning to the outcast ranger, Velvet cautioned.
Now, I'm giving you what I can, including about half the painkillers. But Fluttershy didn't stock up on combat drugs, so I'm afraid you'll have to do without Buck and Dash and whatever else you've been pumping into your body.
She tisked.
And we still need to find you a radiation pit as soon as we can, before you go tussling with anything too nasty.
Steelhooves nickered but said nothing, letting Velvet Remedy access the medical dispensary in his armor. Calamity pulled out a few cans and boxes of food he had scavenged from a wall-mounted vendor. I felt a rumble in my gut and realized I was starving. 200-year-old snack cakes didn't sound too appetizing. But what Calamity put before us was all we had. We had left all of our provisions with Zenith and the starving zebras of Glyphmark.
Well, those
Y'all would be
provisions are
thrilled to know
gone.
that Fluttershy and her ministry were apparently all vegetarians, too, Calamity quipped. Velvet Remedy shot him a look.
Calamity, I can't believe that even after Arbor you would still even think of eating meat.
It's tasty.
She pointed a hoof at me.
Even Lil Pip has learned better.
Oh, gee, thanks, I muttered. Calamity shrugged. Yeah, spoken like some pony who ain't never tasted bacon.
Yeah.
Damn. I had to admit, I was gonna miss bacon. But after unwittingly eating another pony, I didn't think I could stomach it.
Ah.
Velvet neighed.
Okay, see, this is the stupid shit that people... Oh, God, it's 32 minutes. But I'm going to talk anyways. See, that's the stupid people... the stupid... yeah, stupid people. But that's the stupid shit people say when they see a documentary on how cows die and shit. I've seen it. I've seen how slaughterhouses work. I've seen how McDonald's work. I've seen how fast food and shit. I've seen the lines. I've seen the butcher factories. I've seen the killing floors. Guess what? I still eat meat. Because it's fucking tasty and delicious. And it's good for you. And you know what? This whole thing about ponies never eating meat is stupid. Because horses do actually eat meat. I mean, they don't run off and kill things. But they scavenge meat from dead carcasses and shit. So, yeah. Horses actually do eat meat. No wonder the ponies of Equestria are so small. They're malnourished. They're not getting the proper nutrients. They got pigs. They can have ham, bacon,